Is it possible to live rent-free in a rival's head even after the season ends? Apparently, for the Rams, the answer is a resounding yes. It's hilarious to watch them obsess over us, especially after their latest roster shakeups and those desperate farewell messages. Our guys are already firing back, and the social media games are just getting started. It's clear that Seattle owns the NFC West mentality right now. If you're as proud of our dominance as I am, join our community by hitting that subscribe button to help us reach 1,000 Seahawks faithful. Your support makes all the difference. The NFC West rivalry has reached a boiling point as we head into the 2026 season, particularly between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Last year, this division was arguably the most competitive in the entire league, with 3 different franchises securing at least 12 victories. The intensity of this conflict was defined by the split series between the Seahawks and the Rams, culminating in 2 of the most memorable games of the season. The Week 16th. Thursday night's showdown and the subsequent NFC Championship game were pivotal, ultimately pushing the Seattle Seahawks toward a championship victory while leaving the Los Angeles Rams in a state of obsession. The landscape of this rivalry shifted dramatically this offseason when the Los Angeles Rams executed a blockbuster trade, sending a haul of draft picks and defensive end Jared Verse to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. As Jared Verse packed his bags to head to Cleveland, he left his former teammates with a specific parting message. They must prioritize defeating the Seattle Seahawks in the upcoming year. This public directive served as an immediate flashpoint for social media discourse, capturing the attention of Seattle players who were quick to respond. Seattle Seahawks defensive end Leonard Williams and slot cornerback Nick Emenwari publicly mocked the message. Williams posted a series of laughing emojis, while Emenwari shared a laughing SpongeBob SquarePants gif, famously commenting, "We left a stain on Brahmind." This exchange highlights that the competitive tension is not merely confined to the gridiron, but is actively maintained by the players themselves. For the Seahawks, these reactions reflect the reality that they have become the primary roadblock in the Rams' pursuit of a title. Go Hawks! The exchange between Nick Emenwari, Leonard Williams, and the departing Jared Verse underscores the deep-seated friction defining the current Seahawks and Rams dynamic. Jared Verse's message, imploring his former teammates to overcome Seattle, acts as a permanent reminder of the Rams' recent failures in their Super Bowl chase, specifically pointing to their inability to neutralize the Seahawks in critical moments last year. This public hostility is not an isolated incident. It follows a pattern of vocal frustration from various members of the Los Angeles roster who have struggled to accept their exit at the hands of Seattle. Players like wide receiver Puka Nacua and offensive tackle Alaric Jackson have previously expressed animosity toward the Seahawks after their championship ambitions were derailed. On the other side, Seattle linebacker Ernest Jones IV has made his own displeasure with the Rams clear, further fueling the fire. Why does this matter right now for the team? This matters because the psychological edge in the NFC West is shifting toward Seattle. As the Seahawks enter the 2026 season with the 4th best odds to repeat as champions, they are being viewed by their division rivals not just as a competitor, but as the standard they must surpass to validate their own roster investments. For the Seahawks, this is not just about managing a single opponent. It is about maintaining focus despite the target on their backs. The Rams are clearly operating with a sense of urgency, and their aggressive pursuit of talent like Myles Garrett suggests they are doing everything possible to reconfigure their defensive identity to specifically contend with the Seahawks' offensive efficiency. Every interaction on social media only serves to solidify the status of this matchup as one of the most intense, must-watch rivalries currently in the entire National Football League. The status of the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams rivalry has now cemented itself as a top 5 confrontation in the NFL, rivaling the historical intensity of the AFC North. While other divisions often rely on decades of tradition, this specific clash between Seattle and Los Angeles is fueled by recent high-stakes consequences that have left the Rams profoundly frustrated. The national media has remained fixated on the Los Angeles Rams throughout the 2026 offseason, largely due to their high-profile acquisition of Myles Garrett and the public perception that their Super Bowl window is narrowing. Conversely, the Seattle Seahawks have utilized their offseason to focus on internal development and strategic acquisitions through both free agency and the 2026 NFL Draft. The organizational philosophy in Seattle appears centered on the concept of moving forward rather than simply trying to mirror their previous title run. By focusing on growth, the Seahawks are positioning themselves to withstand the increased scrutiny that comes with being the defending champions in a division as volatile as the NFC West. The resentment stemming from the previous season is palpable, with both teams now locked in a digital and physical tug-of-war that seems unlikely to dissipate before the kickoff of the new year. Because the Seahawks and Rams split their series last season, every encounter in 2026 carries the weight of a tiebreaker, not just in the standings, but in the narrative of dominance within the division. The players recognize that their social media interactions are a byproduct of the genuine bitterness built through repeated, high-intensity games. As long as the Seahawks continue to stand in the way of the Rams' path to the Lombardi Trophy, the hostility captured in the recent exchange between Nick Emenwari and the departing Jared Verse will continue to define the preparation and intensity for every upcoming divisional matchup. The 2026 schedule has already set the stage for these tensions to reach a crescendo, with the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams slated to face each other in a marquee Week 16 matchup on Christmas Day in Seattle, followed by another meeting in Week 18 to close out the regular season. These late season dates mean that the hostility expressed by players like Nick Emenwari and Leonard Williams will have months to simmer before the two teams meet on the field. The Rams, despite their roster overhaul and the arrival of defensive powerhouse Myles Garrett, remain the team fighting to prove they can survive the physical and tactical challenges presented by the Seahawks. For Seattle, the objective remains clear: maintain the momentum that led them to the Super Bowl, while ignoring the external noise created by rivals looking for redemption. The ongoing public comments from players regarding these games indicate that the intensity of last season's NFC Championship game has not been forgotten. It has, in fact, become the baseline expectation for every meeting between the two franchises. The Seahawks have shown the ability to handle this pressure, as evidenced by their previous successes in the most critical games of the 2025 calendar. As the season approaches, the focus for the coaching staff in Seattle will be to translate this established rivalry energy into performance, ensuring the players are ready for the high-intensity atmosphere that accompanies these meetings. The public banter between the defensive units of both teams, highlighted by the reaction to Jared Verse's exit, proves that the competitive fire is still burning brightly on both sides. Fans can expect that when the teams finally meet on the gridiron in Week 16, the level of physicality will reflect the current state of this rivalry, which is arguably the most heated in football. Looking ahead to the upcoming 2026 campaign, the narrative surrounding the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams has transcended the typical divisional matchup. It has become a battle of identity, where the Seahawks represent the reigning standard and the Rams represent the aggressive challenger aiming to reestablish their hierarchy. The trade that sent Jared Verse to Cleveland and brought Myles Garrett to Los Angeles serves as a microcosm of the Rams' desperation to alter the balance of power, while the calm, confident response from players like Leonard Williams and Nick Emenwari reflects a Seattle team comfortable in their status as the division's apex. The constant stream of public comments, from Pukanakwa and Alaric Jackson's past hostility to the recent viral laughter at the expense of the departed Verse, keeps the stakes high for every single snap. This rivalry is characterized by its unpredictability, as seen in the dramatic outcomes of last year's games. The fact that the league has scheduled these teams to finish their regular season against each other in Week 18 suggests that the NFL understands the gravity of this confrontation. The players themselves are keeping the momentum alive, ensuring that even in the quiet of the offseason, the Seahawks remain a central point of conversation for the Rams and their fan base. As Seattle continues to integrate new talent from the 2026 NFL Draft and free agency, they remain committed to the goal of constant improvement. The path to another championship requires navigating this specific rivalry, and the players seem to relish the role of being the team that everyone else in the NFC West is obsessed with defeating. With the Christmas Day game looming, the stage is set for the Seahawks to continue their dominance, and for the Rams to either bridge the gap or fall further behind in this intense divisional tug-of-war.